Okay, hi Tanya. I am so excited that you're here today to tell the community about an upcoming workshop that you have. And I just really liked your energy and I like your honesty. And I like you're very obviously very passionate about what you do. And I just wanted to share what you're doing with the group in case it resonates with anyone as well. So please tell us a little bit about you.
Hello, hi, Christy. Yes, thank you for having me today. My name is Tanya Stockdale, and I'm a certified functional medicine practitioner. And a lot of people always ask, what is functional medicine? And they're not familiar with the concept. Functional medicine is basically getting to the root cause of problems that you're experiencing in your body. It could be anything from ailments to very serious conditions like cancer, autoimmune disease. And recently, I've been really focusing on menopause and perimenopause because it seems that there is a huge gap at the moment in the market when people are not talking about it openly and honestly. And I've personally gone through an early-ish kind of menopause and a very difficult period in my life where I found very little support. So I'm very passionate about the subject and also educating women who are a little bit younger than the perimenopausal age so that they know what to do and what to expect and how to educate themselves and how to prepare themselves so that they can transition into that phase smoothly and easily. And the workshop I'll be running is on the 20th on Saturday, and it's a very lovely, safe space. If you know, I will be covering. I'll be talking about the biochemistry of hormones, how how everything is interconnected in the body. I'll be also talking about the measures that can be done, for instance, to prevent hot flashes and the main symptoms you're experiencing during the menopause, basic blood work to watch out for, what to look, like in terms of dietary supplements and also herbal supplements. It's a very safe environment, and if you don't have to share or talk about anything that you don't want to, you can just be present there and just learn. But what I found on my last workshop, women were craving the kind of like that kind of safe space, and everyone shared their stories. And yeah, and it was really, really wonderful to be able to be in that kind of safe environment and to be talking openly about what they've been experiencing and their problems with the doctors as well, and how they've been dismissed, not heard, and and yeah, so this is what I'm going to be doing.
Yeah, great. And also just validated. And I know we were talking about before, like how the medical model is like can be very stuck. It's very like based on the male hierarchy, and like we could go down that route. But especially in the UK, if you're not dying, it's like, okay, go home. Like, we've got other people to save. And they can really be so dismissive of your problems, or like, like I said, I was listening to Mel Robbins this morning, and her friends are getting told about menopause, like, oh yeah, you're putting 10 pounds, but it will come off. Like, but to some people, that's just like that's out of control, and it can be really scary place. So to create a space which is like, this is safe. Me too. I'm also experiencing that, or mine manifests like this, and how's yours showing up? Can be so powerful just to create a community.
Yes, exactly. And then and exactly that, saying it's okay to put 10 pounds. Well, actually, you can, you don't have to be putting 10 pounds. You have to know and understand why it's happening in your body, and you can take measures and stop it, from happening. Normally a sign of big belly fat, for instance, is a sign of insulin resistance. And if you take certain supplements and reset your metabolism, you can be actually, you don't have to be putting that weight on, and you can still be thriving and happy. Checking simple things like, are you stressed? Where's the stress coming from? Is it mental, emotional? Is it physical stress? Basically, the phase of perimenopause and menopause is a kind of barometer of health, when everything is amplified, and asking the woman to finally start paying attention to herself, where all these little things that she was like saying, oh, it's okay, it'll go away, it'll be dismissed. Oh, I've not been sleeping for like 5 years, but that's okay. but now is the time when you have to look at it if you want to live an adulthood and kind of like and be and age gracefully. You have to take after your body, look at all these little things that have been bothering you, and just take care of that. It's important because for us women, our bodies are our temples. We need to be feeling comfortable and confident, and who we are, how we present ourselves, and just how we come across in the world.
Yeah, exactly. And it's not just always about doing positive affirmations and stuff. It is about like what's happening in my body. So a lot of the work that I do is somatic, and it's the body doesn't have words. It doesn't have language to say, hey, I'm really stressed. So it manifests in different ways, whether it's chronic illness or, like you said, like belly fat, or even the opposite, losing so much weight really fast. And just looking at these signs, what is your body trying to tell you? And it could be different to your partner, different to your best friend, different to your mom and your sisters. So just finding out like what's happening for you. Okay, if you can't actively think like, I'm not stressed at the minute, actually it's the first time I've had freedom. Well, actually that can be super stressful for some people, finally having freedom. And just looking at like what's happening in the body, what has changed recently. When I draw attention to this part of my body, what kind of emotions are coming up for me? Oh, I feel quite tearful, or I feel angry suddenly, I don't know why. And just following those emotions, and it can tell you so much about what's happening and what needs to be done.
Yes, I totally agree with you. I love the somatic awareness and, listening to bodily signs and sensations and what's going on, because as exactly what you're saying, we're all by individual. And sometimes when people give you advice on this internet or whatever, this worked for me, do this, and that's worked for me, do that. This is totally wrong, because what worked for one person will not work for you, and you really have to be sensible, and get all the data, get all the information, but then still test, don't guess. There's no need to sort of get, to guess, because there's some basic labs. You don't have to even have very complicated tests, but basic lab data, lab analysis can give you a lot of information on what's going on in your body. Even like basic CBC, which is complete blood count, can tell you what kind of deficiencies we might be having. Are you going through inflammation in your body? And all these kind of things are important signs with the way you'll be feeling. And exactly what you said, some people will be putting weight on, but others will be losing a lot. And everyone's experience is really different. Somebody who with a high levels of hormone, like for instance estrogen, will be feeling like really terrible, but others not. We're all by individual, and this bio-individuality is really, really important. And that's what I really focus on as well in my work and working with women, and particularly.
Yeah, and going back to something you said earlier, you said that some people are willing to share, and at the last workshop, people really did share. And you're welcome to steal this if you would find it useful. But at my workshops, I do like a wristband thing. So if you wear a red wristband, it's like I don't want to talk about me, and actually I can't even support you right now. Yellow wristband is like I don't want to talk about me, but I can support you right now. And green is like I'm happy to talk about anything. So what I find is that it gives people autonomy. So it's like you have the autonomy to say yes or no. You don't feel just because everyone else has spoken doesn't mean that you have to. We don't even need to ask you because we can see you wearing a red band, and you can swap it at any time. So you don't feel like pressured into speaking or sharing. And I was saying the other day, because we had like a sharing circle, that often when you share your story, you get an adrenaline rush. And then straight after, you tend to feel like almost like shame. What's happening is it's the adrenaline dropping, and it mirrors exactly what happens in your body when you feel shame. So it's just important to know that once you have shared your story and you're just like your nervous system is settling back down, it's just saying like, okay, no, this isn't shame. It's just my nervous system calming and relaxing. I'm going to listen to the other person's story now, or I'm going to listen to Tanya talking right now. And you'll notice after a few minutes that you actually feel calm, and usually like a big release as well of having like, oh my gosh, it's so nice to get that off my chest. I thought I was the only one. The doctors told me I'm crazy. Yeah, I didn't even know that was a sign of stress. So Yeah.
Yes, yes, exactly. So I don't have the wrist band system, but it's a lovely idea. I might adopt that actually. But I just, tell them that they don't have to share if they don't want to share. And normally they just kind of like say pass, and
Yeah.
if they don't want, yeah, pass, and they don't want to share. But other people, but quite often when they hear other women share, they join in afterwards saying, oh, that's exactly what I'm experiencing. I'm so glad to hear I'm not the only one. That's exactly kind of like validating more who they are and what they're experiencing, that it's nothing abnormal and it's just nothing, that there's nothing weird with them, they're not some kind of like, they're not horribly sick. It's just part of this transition, because menopause and perimenopause is transition. It's a transition into a new phase of life, and as I mentioned to you earlier as well, so it's the letter M upside down, which turns into wisdom, is the kind of the wisdom state of a woman, when she's coming to that kind of a state when she accepts everything and she's already become wise and worldly and knows a lot, and yeah, so she can share her story and with the world and stand in her own truth a lot more than before. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's really interesting as well because you said that you've lived in Bangkok for 11 years.
Yes, yes, I
Yeah.
have. Yeah.
So you've seen the kind of downfalls of living on this side of the world and what gets neglected and just, come up with what's missing in your life and you're helping other people find that, right?
Yes, exactly. I've been actually an expat for a long time. I've lived in all sorts of different areas of Asia, but I've been in Bangkok now for 11 years. For me, it's home, now. I just don't feel there's anything. I mean, everything that's kind of like, all these little things, that Thais did, I found weird. I feel it's quite okay. It's kind of
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it's commonplace, it's normal, it's commonplace now.
Yeah.
So yes, but I kind of like, I do see how that can also add an overwhelm to people who've just, quite new to this country or just arrived, because you're also settling, there's the culture shock and you're getting used to everything, the new environment, the new people, the new, even, Buddhist traditions. How do you behave yourself? How do you do these kind of things? And then plus, if you start going through some kind of physical changes in your body, that can be really challenging and overwhelming. So yeah, but I totally can assure that it's one of the nicest countries I've lived in, and I call it home now. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember if you said this on the video or not, but you said that the way you got into this is because you said that the doctors weren't giving you the answers that you needed, so you found a different route.
Yes, so I was going through a very difficult time in my own personal life, midlife crisis, and just everything was collapsing in my personal life, and I was going through um, relationship challenges, and then it affected my hormones. Now I understand the biochemistry, exactly how it happens, because stress, first is stress, and adrenals, that go out of whack, and then slowly it's like a cascade. It starts affecting the rest of your body, and and when the body in this kind of fight and flight mode, it's trying to fight and live, for basic kind of like needs to survive, basically. So then your sex hormones is the least, it's like on the last of the agenda. I mean, they don't want to, they don't even, the body doesn't even function, doesn't look at the sex hormones. So that was happening with me. And I started going to doctors, and the doctors just completely dismissed. They looked at the age, they looked at that, they checked some blood work. They say, no, you can have more children, you're just like in this kind of like, stage, whatever. I say, no, but I'm experiencing certain symptoms which are unlike me. I'm feeling different. I'm feeling tired. It's like one of those things when you've been used to a certain car and driving, at your own pace, right? And then all of a sudden you're like, the car is changing and you don't really know, what's going on. And there was lack of this information and this dismissal that I just felt, I know something is wrong, because I just, I know my body, and they just dismissed it. I went to several doctors, and I think at that point I kind of said, I'm really quite determined to figure out what is the root cause. Why am I feeling the way I am feeling? I want to know the answers. And I came across this course in functional medicine, And it kind of like, made sense to me, because it's not just the diet, it's not just the nutrition, it's not just the exercise, it's not just the mental emotional state or spiritual state, but everything combined makes us like a happy being or not. And it kind of like unleashed and put me on a path unlike any other, because on top of my like qualification that I got as a result, functional medicine practitioner, I turned into Buddhism. I started to meditate a lot, and I now practice Tibetan Buddhism, and it really transformed my life, just seeing and using exactly those tools that you've mentioned, somatic awareness kind of tools, and going within and asking the questions more within and getting to the root cause of many aspects of what was going on in my body, in my mental health, and emotional health. It just really transformed my life and me. And I'm feeling now, I'm 47, and I'm feeling on top of my health, and I feel better than I felt in my 30s. So yeah, so I guess I'm doing something. There's still always ways to improve, of course, and but I'm feeling great, and I'm feeling that obviously I'm doing something right, but it's this holistic integrative approach to health. Your mental, your even thoughts we think, even the thoughts we think can affect the biochemistry of our body. So everything is important. Yeah, it's very powerful. So you kind of have to look at the body as a whole, and have this kind of like nice holistic approach to health, but at the same time not dismiss the science, and test, not guess, when necessary. That's for sure is also very important.
Yeah, and I think that's really important to a lot of people, is having the science, having the research as well. And no, I really resonate with what you're saying, because I have so many friends that are in like the rat race, like need to do this, need to do that. Oh, I've got kids, so I can't put myself first. I've got to look after my kids. And suddenly you might even put in like a massage, and then suddenly it's like, well, actually, I need to do this for my kids, or I need to do this for my dog, or I need to do this for work, or I need to prioritize making money, or whatever it is, that starts to get pushed down. And it would be so great, wouldn't it, if we could just prioritize our own mental and physical well-being. I'm going to do that yoga class because it makes me feel good. I'm going to do 10 minutes of meditation to just check in with myself, and just to try and quiet down my busy brain that has multiple thoughts going all the time. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I totally agree with that. And there's a funny cartoon that we've been given at our school. And there's, somebody coming into the doctor's office and saying, "Doctor, how can I meditate better than everyone else and be on the cutting edge of meditation?" So even that is kind of like, it has become, like even the kind of basic tools that they're supposed to help us, to come down and check in exactly what you said with ourselves and who we are. Even that has been turned into the competition. So I have to be meditating better than everyone else, be on the cutting edge of meditation. But that's not the point. The point is exactly just developing this awareness and being self-aware of who you are, trying to find that, like that lost you. Quite often for women, they get lost in this, like in the life. So they become mothers, wives, they're someone else, but they just like, they're lost who they truly are. All these qualities that they displayed when they were younger, they just they become muddled up in this, like in all this tags. They've been, you're this, you're that, you're the, and if a woman works as well as also has a family, that's like even becomes much more stressful, because I think there's the expectations from a woman are so much more. It could be mother, you could be cooking, you could be looking after the family, providing for the a safe space for the family, the husband, but what, and there's very little resources left for ourselves. But when we are not in a resourceful state, we can't give to others, we cannot just so it becomes very important. I totally agree. So we don't have to, like, which is, it's so important, you just do that yoga class because it feels good, not because and without shame and blame or guilt or anything like that, just because it just simply makes me feel good, going to a massage or a facial because you just want one, you makes you feel feminine and attractive. You don't have to justify why it has to be done. It's just one of those things which are, it's self-care, and self-care is important.
Yeah, and helps you with your identity. I know we were talking about identity earlier and how important that is, and how you could literally call someone by their name and they start crying because they haven't heard their name in so long. They're just mom or grandma or
Yeah.
teacher, or and it's like, well, who are you? And suddenly there's that part of you is like, oh my gosh, I'm still here. And how can I discover who I am? Because, like, if you can discover who you are and put time to yourself, you have more energy and more love to give to other people. Doing more
Yes,
meditation or just calmingness, you can have more time to listen to others and to be the good energy in the room, as opposed to always being stressed. I'm sorry, I just need to do this. Oh, yeah. Oh, living in that. I'm sorry. And
yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, or like yeah, just yeah, exactly this, and I think there's quite a common also. I've lived in England for about 8 years, you know, early on, and I used to be a journalist, and that I'm sorry, I remember, is kind of like ingrained in British people. I think they're sorry for everything, but what for? It's like, I just don't quite understand. Like, I guess sorry for being, or what
yeah,
is like, it just doesn't make sense
yeah,
sometimes, it's
exactly.
sorry for everything, and just, yeah, we don't have to be feeling sorry for anything, we just do what makes us feel good. And because, as you exactly said, we can give more, we can be that, spark of light and emanate light, so that people just
Yeah,
gravitate towards us, and just,
yeah.
yeah, and be in our vicinity and just be happy, and yeah.
Yeah, and my friend, she says sorry a lot, and we were laughing about being British the other day and how we apologize for everything. And it was just like, I said, well, as soon as you said sorry, my brain had to go back through the conversation and it was looking for things you should have been sorry about. It's like what your brain does. It's like, so I'm trying to change my language as to like, oh, instead of like, I'm sorry, I'm late, it's to like, thank you for your patience. Because
Yeah,
you want to be
exactly.
around someone who's sorry all the time, or
Yeah,
actually be
absolutely. Yeah,
appreciated.
yeah.
So
Thank you for your patience, because things happen. You can be like, sometimes you're late, and like, yeah, exactly. You don't have to. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for your patience. Or, yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love your approach too. I think it's very much resonates with how I also, work with my clients, somatic awareness and being mindful of the language, because, yeah, exactly. It's just really quite important. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's still a work in progress for me. I'm still a serial
I'm sure.
apologizer, but
I do that too. We all do, it's always work in progress. We can always improve, there's so
yeah,
many.
for sure. Yeah, so your workshop that's happening this Saturday, how long is it going to be?
It's from 9:30 till 12 o'clock at
Hmm.
St. Gabriel's Foundation in Tonglo. And then what we do, of course, it's not obligatory, but those who want, we will walk to Gluck Cafe. And I agreed a special rate for us. They will be giving us a 10% discount, and we'll just chat and have a lovely healthy meal, because I love their food. The lady who runs it, the German lady, she makes everything wholesome, homemade, and there's no MSG, lovely, healthy, natural ingredients. Yeah. So, and we just,
Ah, what's it
it'll be
called?
a Gluck, Gluck,
Luke?
Gluck. Yeah.
I've never been there.
Yeah. It's a kind of like German Gluck for it. No, I've been. It's in Tonglo. You must, what, you must try it. It's very nice. Yeah.
Beautiful,
So
yeah.
it's not far from the place where the workshop will run. And then we'll walk to Gluck and have some lunch afterwards, 9:30 till 12. Yeah. And
Mm.
at St. Gabriel's foundation.
Yeah, and stay for lunch if you want to. That's one
Yeah.
thing that I love about my workshops is that we do a workshop for an hour, and then no matter how heavy things get or whatever happens afterwards, we just go and have food and drinks, and it's just so
Yeah. Yeah.
light and energized and free talking, and you've already done the deep conversation, so you kind of already feel like you know each other a bit better. So yeah, it's one of my favorite parts of workshops.
Yeah, true. It's a bit longer mine, but I am giving as much as my information as I can. It's more the tools, the dietary, supplementary, nutritional kind of tools, what women can expect, what they can do to improve, their state of health, mind, and everything else during menopause and perimenopause. There's a lot of kind of me talking, but we will have some sessions and break, like break for fun activities as well, so that, it's not too heavy. Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and,
great.
and, and I've redesigned my workshop a little bit, because based on the first one, they told me, oh, there was a bit too much scientific data. So like, because I'm a bit of a geek and I want to know why and everything. So
Yeah.
for those who are geeks, I will keep some special scientific links, but otherwise I'll keep it very light and very easygoing in basic words, and like explain the biochemistry, why it's important, but then we'll focus on the solutions, what you can do to improve your symptoms, and
Yeah, epic. Oh, okay, brilliant. And how do people sign up?
They can sign up. Actually, if they go to my Instagram, it's Stockdale, STOCKDALE_Tanya. They can just there's a Google form, just click link in bio and you can sign up.
Oh, great. Yeah, Google Forms, so easy, amazing.
Yes,
Yeah. So people can people pay in advance and when they get there, or how does
yes, they can. Well, once they click, and I mean, they can pay in advance through signing up, but if they prefer to think about it, whatever, they can. I do need to know at least 2 days beforehand, because I need to secure the spaces and and prepare materials as well, handouts and everything. Yeah. So they can message me if they don't have like, I don't know, for whatever reason, Google form, whatever. Yeah, but it's probably easiest way is to click on the Google form, sign up in advance. It'll be easier, much easier for all the logistical things involved.
Yeah, so the link is in your Instagram. Amazing. And if you had one piece of advice for women out there, what would it be?
I would say just what comes to mind in this kind of like flow of energy. Don't take no for an answer. Don't be dismissed. Stand into your no, in your own truth, and you are amazing. You are an individual. You're just you just can be your true authentic self. Yeah, that's the thing.
And what's one positive impact you'd like to have on the community?
One positive impact is to educate, empower women to live their authentic selves, to live their authentic lives. Yeah. That's what I really want to do.
Yeah. Beautiful, amazing. Yeah.
And also know that no matter what happens in life, no matter what kind of adversities you can go through, there's always this light within you. And if you tap into your inner wisdom, your inner light, you can just overcome any difficulties. That's really my best piece of advice.
Yeah. 100%, 100%. Everyone has this light inside of them. And if we touch on it, then we can overcome anything.
Yes, that's exactly how I
am. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Great. Well, yeah. So thank you so much for your time today and sharing with us your wisdom. And I wish you the best of luck with your workshop on Saturday. And yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, I hope to see some of the ladies there.
Brilliant. Thank you. Bye.
Right. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.